Welcome back to Yamaha, or is that Yamaha? I don't know. Anyway, let's get on with it. Next stage, let's start topping this up with fluids, starting with the rear brake. What I don't understand about the R6 is why the exhaust sweep forward. It's actually not even a straight down, it's not a 90 degrees drop. They actually sweep forward and then back. I don't get that. I mean, I get that, yeah, just a nice smooth flow. And this is a 1980s bike, and this is 2003, 6, whatever, I can't remember. I don't get that. Why do they do that? There's nothing in the middle there, as you can see. What's that all about? So next up is the fan. And either hunting down the original connection, or I have a cunning plan. We have a spare switch up here, and that could just be putting on the fan. We have that in the race car. I like the idea of a manual override. That may happen. I happened to be down at IDR yesterday working on the Stratos, and we had some leftover hose, which is exactly the right orifice. In fact, it's a little bit tighter, which is even better. And plenty of it, as you can see, because I've already cut the piece off that I needed, and that fits beautifully, absolutely beautifully in there. Yeah, and I don't know if you can see the curve there, but that's a perfect curve, and it's away from the exhaust. Good and clear. So very pleased with that, just needed another inch. In fact, I cut it a little bit longer than I thought I needed, just to be safe, and then adjusted it by, what, ½ inch. So all is good. We're kind of near the end of this project now, and just a few things to tidy up. And as always, with a project that has previously had a fairing and nowhere else to mount the bloody Speedo. So I'm thinking options are minimal, honestly. So I either put a big rod in there and mount it off that. I'm not very happy about that. I could squeeze in mounts into those clip-on connections that come up and over and sit it here, or off these two prongs, which don't unfortunately have screw threads in them. You could put it right out here somewhere, but I think that's a bit crappy. Not from a riding point of view, maybe, but from an aesthetic point of view, it's a bit shit. And I did start measuring up my idea about putting something between the handlebars, but I don't know how I'm going to fit it. So there's all the measurements, and it's all drawn out. But it just, you know, I mean, how do I secure it on here? There's no thread. So I'm at a bit of a loss, which is always disappointing when you got no ideas. I think this is where I want it to end up, but I just don't know how to get it there. Well, this is interesting because I dried this off last night or the night before, and the supplied tubing is literally bleeding brake fluid. Beware. Well, the more I look at this, the more I'm favouring doing something coming out of there. And here's the reason why. Assuming the front fork swap on the CB750 with the GSX R750 forks goes okay, I will not be needing these front forks. And I'm not going to be putting them on eBay because I can't imagine what the shipping would be like for me to send them somewhere. And the beauty of it is that these are exactly 34.8 millimeters. So let's call it 35, which is exactly the same as that. So I have an idea. I have a cunning plan. There, it doesn't get much more sketchy than that, does it? What is he up to now? Okay. That was the most accurate way of measuring where the holes are. And that's where the cable goes. See? So, if we cut the fork, that fork, at an angle that is suitable for the Speedo, then all we need is a nicely engineered plasma cut piece from IDR to mount 3 holes solidly. Yes, I'm going to design something tomorrow. And there's stage 2 of it, measured with a ruler that I can actually read. So I must remember to take that home, because that metal ruler is good for nothing in terms of measuring stuff. It's good for cutting stuff, but yeah. And we're just about to draw that on a blank sheet of paper, virtually. And there we go, finished article for IDR. Mocked up and measured up. Lovely jubbly. My dear wife bought me this bottle of wine because she thought it might help. I don't know. What do you think? So it'll be something like that. Obviously not using that. Apart from anything, it's got a bloody great hole in it. And what I realised is that it would be a terrible waste of the forks, and they probably wouldn't work anyway, even though they're the right diameter, because of course they're hollow. And I really want something that's solid, so I can drill a small hole in it and carve a face that's at an angle and be able to tap that out and mount the device and the bracket to that. Which reminds me, I need to modify that design to ensure that it lines up with the aforementioned post. And I found some 35mm, I think it was 1 3/8 inch aluminum rods, but I had to buy 4, a foot each, for $45. I don't really want to do that, so I've asked them if I can just buy 1. We'll see. Oops, missed. 10mm out, I guess. Okay, well, anyway, that bit's cool. That all works. And then we need to work out where where it's going to mount on the mount, which is this bit. There we go. It's going to have to be something like that, in which case I'm going to need to put another bulge on the other side of that. So that's worth noting. So I think that's what we're looking at now. Well, we're definitely looking at it now, but I think that's what we need to do. And we're replacing those leaky brake lines that you can see, yeah, further deterioration with, I hope this works. It was some tubing that I bought actually for that little Honda I had, and I think it's good for fuel and stuff. So we'll see. So yes, both on the Yamaha and the Suzuki, we are replacing those supplied brake tubes, which clearly aren't. I'm back on this, and paper prototype number 4, I think, and we are getting there. I think it needs to come a little bit more forward though. Well, the paper was folded over the wrong way, which didn't help, and I think actually that's going to do the job. So I think we need to ship that off to IDR and get that laser cut. And you'll notice I put another little curve in there rather than a straight line from that edge to that edge. I just trying to make their life more complicated, because I can. It's actually quite fun designing parts that you can get created if you know the right people. So this will do the job nicely. I just need to resolve the issue with the 34mm aluminum tube and make sure I can get it. Couldn't resist an extra bit of yellow flash. Yeah, it was that heat guard, whatever the hell it is, on the exhaust for the Yamaha, but I don't know. I could only get one screw in. And it's not guarding heat from anything apart from the underside of your boot. It's probably not very necessary. And I do mean boot, not trunk. I'm not talking about. So, closest we could get off the shelf for the R6 Speedo mount was 1 3/8. Because these are extrusions as opposed to being machined or milled. And it's just a little bit too large to go in there. So, I'm going to measure again and get a little bit shaved off, and maybe not shaved off all of it. So the maybe I need to work out. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work out how much I need. Oh, ow! I'm going to work out how much I need to protrude, and then what angle that top needs to be, and then work out how much I need to shave off and up to what length. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Thanks to some help from my glamorous assistant, I managed to work out I needed roughly about 80mm at the top to include the, what do I want to say, the angle cut. Yeah, like that. And the rest of it I need to shave down to 34mm diameter. So that requires a machinist. Which sounds like a quick trip to Cottonwood to see my mate Adam. Yes, we haven't talked about Adam for a while. Adam helped weld in the roll cage for the race car. He did the rear seat welding and creation on the Augusta, that bar at the back, and has built his own custom bikes in the form of choppers and incredible creations. There's no accounting for taste, obviously. Yeah, no, he's just a fantastic fabricator and welder and machinist and everything else. And the best thing about Adam is he tends to do stuff while you wait, which is really cool. Just turn up, gets the job done. That reminds me, I need to get in touch with Derek. Yes, I'm on the floor because I did phone Derek there and then, and guess what? He answered the phone. Yes, so who knows? The seat for the R6 may arrive shortly. Having picked myself up off the floor, I realise I've got to unravel all that stuff again and find the electrical connection to marry up with this boy for the fan. So that's going to be a pain, but it's just going to be tedious. Probably shouldn't take very long. And then we got, what else have we got to do? Oh yes, we got sprockets and yes, those things. And then we can put our overflow tank on, which will connect up to that, which goes down there, and yeah, and I mean, you know, we're kind of getting close to firing it up again. Well, I say again, I mean, I cranked it over, it never fired up, right? But we're getting close to trying to fire it up again. Well, I found it, buried, obviously. So that's the fan hooked up in theory. And while I was in there rummaging around, I found that too, which is kind of the main fuse, as we've experienced on the Suzuki GS 550. And if you're not watching that build, why on earth not? It's fascinating. Look, there it is. Anyway, as I was saying, this is kind of the main fuse to the whole bike. You know, if this goes out, something major obviously gone wrong, but kind of don't really want it buried under the fuel tank. I mean, you could, at a pinch, get to it through there. What? Really? Focus. Through there. Yes, you could kind of just about get to it. But, I mean, that's a bit stupid, isn't it? But, of course, it comes off the ECU or goes quite quickly into the ECU. And if we're going to put the ECU down here, that's where it's going to have to live. I don't know what else to do about that, honestly. So, I'm afraid that's where it's going to have to go. I mean, Ferrari get away with this kind of shit, so why shouldn't I? Anyway, while I was rummaging, I found this, which is obviously the Speedo. I also found this coming off it, which I don't remember what it was, and I don't remember why I put that on the end of it. And it's not labelled. And it has an earth, by the looks of it. What the hell? I mean, everything kind of turns on like it should when I hit the switch. What is that? What is this? Does anyone remember? It's probably something random like the horn, and I blocked it off. But I mean, why didn't I label it? And amidst all that confusion and astonishment that Derek might actually be turning up, I think it's time to call it a day for this episode. I will let you know whether he actually arrives in the next episode, because we'll have a seat to play with, and that'll be fun. We can start sorting out that back end. And then we really are on the homeward stretch with the Yamaha R6. So, thanks for watching as usual. And if you haven't already, do subscribe down here somewhere. And yes, encourage others to watch my lunacy.